Yeah. Yeah.
Bless you.
How are you, Madam Bill?
Evening, good to see you. Thank you for inviting me. Absolutely. How are y'all doing today?
How are you?
All right, good to see you.
John Russell, yep, it's good to meet you.
What's happening? So what's happening? Everything good? How you doing, Officer Betty? Everything going good?
That's a correction for the minutes
Hello, man.
for page 5. That's
How are you doing?
I'm good. That's good.
85 betterments. I told the mayor it's got to be quick. My kids got their last ball game tonight at 7:15.
In other words, keep that.
I told him, but you know how that goes.
Dead on their course.
About one more minute.
About 5 seconds.
2.
5,
Yeah, that's good.
6 o'clock.
All right. I'm going to call the meeting to order, but I want to welcome everyone here tonight, and we're lucky to have Pastor Elliott tonight from the Methodist Church here, and she's going to do our invocation. If everyone please stand up. Thank you. Let me turn this thing on. Will you turn it on?
It's good to be with everyone. Mr. Mayor, Mr. City Manager, all the members of the City Council, thank you for the opportunity to be with you this evening. Let us pray. Oh God, who we call by many names, representing many traditions, we call upon your presence now. We ask you to be with us, to be with our leaders, and to give us the sense that we all are working together for the common good. Oh God, we do pray for each one of our city leaders. We pray that they will have wisdom, courage, and know that they are doing their best to work to the benefit of all those who live here in Lowell, in the city, in the communities, in the neighborhoods, all those who are citizens and those who reside here. Oh God, we ask that you would also bless all of the citizens of this great community. We remember its history and its heritage, and we honor those on whose shoulders we stand for many years in the community. We also ask that you would be with all those who help to make this city run, the city workers, law enforcement, teachers, all those who contribute. And we especially ask your blessing upon children and young people and families as we draw near the close of the school year. Keep everyone safe. Help us to draw together as a community to love and support and care for and provide for the needs of all of those, especially as we follow the teachings of Jesus Christ, whose death and resurrection we marked just within the last few weeks. The teachings that say, take care of one another, be your brothers and sisters' keeper, and make sure that most of all, you take care of the least among us, particularly the children. And we pray all these things in the name of the one who comes, and all God's children assembled said together, Amen. Thank you.
Pledge of allegiance. Pledge of allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right. Okay. We're going to have public comments at this time. Anyone have public comments? You just state your name and address, please.
Thank you. Excuse me, I've got allergies tonight if I'm coughing a lot. On the Harold Rankin Park, I know we've only got so much money. I understand that, and I understand a lot of things that's going on. I'm just asking y'all to reconsider just a couple things. And I don't know if y'all have gotten quotes on the bathrooms. I want to help as much as I can. Y'all know I love this city because I grew up here and been back 25 years, and I want to help, I really do. So I've called places today to try to get quotes, and y'all probably already done it, and I even talked to somebody at the county level about the bathrooms. And I've talked to citizens, you know, grandmothers and mothers who would love, everybody's excited about the splash pad, and I'm your number one fan on that. But the bathrooms, it's a big issue, and I know it costs a lot of money, but I've been told at the county level it would be cheaper to build them instead of fabricated and brought in. So y'all will probably look at that. I was just going to let you know that. And also on the pickleball courts, the seats, the benches are marked off on both sides, and I'm asking y'all maybe to leave one so when we're out there playing pickleball, there won't be any place to sit. That and the bathrooms. And on the side of the recreation center, it's not the boys club anymore, and it's the Lowell Recreation Center. If possible, that could get paid for people to park, you know, to come on down and enjoy the new facilities. And also, I'm very concerned and disappointed, when North Point came in and did the distribution centers, at the very end, they had talked to us about giving us $150,000. And the council then, that I was on, we wanted to use that towards paving of Harold Rankin Park. Well, that's come and gone, and I've asked several different council members and Tyler, what's happened to this money? So I got Toby Wilkes from North Point's phone number and talked with him personally on Friday. And he said he's met with the mayor and some council and tried to get something going, but the mayor, and I wrote down exactly what he said. The mayor said, "We don't want your money, we just want you to pay your taxes, and that y'all are ripping off Lowell." That's exactly word for word that Toby said, and I wrote it down. I'm very disappointed in that because now that project is closed out, no $150,000 for it. Now, y'all could have used it for whatever, but we're not getting it, and he was very upset that the mayor had said that. And I know that we gave him an incentive, but like this year, there's a $16,000 increase, and there'll be increases of that money, tax money, coming back every year. And he said that Toby said no one ever got back with him concerning that project. I just want to let you know that that's not good. Thank you.
Mayor, I normally don't, Richard, do you mind if I?
No, go ahead.
Mayor, I'd like to comment to that if that's okay with you. Ms. Funderburk, I contacted Toby Wiles, I'm on it personally, and when I talked to him, he did say that about the mayor, he did, but when I talked to him, he said that he was not sure of exact amount if it was $150,000. And when it come down to it, they started needing betterments for around where Aberdeen comes into South Church. They needed betterments, so they had to come up with money somewhere, so some of that money went to that. Then he proceeded to tell me that it sounded like, from listening to him, it was a timing issue on the last administration, and I'll say his name, Scott Attaway. Scott Attaway did not give Tyler the information. I seen what information he gave him, and it was going to be, he should have let him know that. And when I talked to Toby, he said that partly because of what the mayor done, and mainly because there was a timing issue, the previous administration did not get back with him.
Okay.
And with Tyler not knowing the information, then how was Tyler to know? So that would be falling back on partly of the previous administration. And on that note, Mayor, how about if somebody gives us free money, don't go and tell them that we don't need your money. Let's see if they're going to give it to us. But on that note, I'm not scolding you. I'm not scolding Mr. Funderburk. I'm just saying that let's tell the whole story, not partial story.
I agree with you
Thank you.
100%. I'm glad you made the comments. I'm going to make a comment now, and I'm going to set both of you straight. Here's the whole deal, and this is the truth, nothing but the truth. When Toby, Darrell Tate and myself went to Old Stone, had the lunch after y'all had the meeting over here at the thing, okay, let's tell the whole truth. They went over there, they took the money and fixed these people's houses up on Cobb Street and all, that's where the money went.
Yeah, that's
the
what I
truth.
said, betterments.
That's the truth and nothing but the truth. It wasn't the fact of what I said about the money part of it. It's not our money to take. We can't take kickbacks from no one. You can't have a promise for someone to give you money to the city unless it comes before this administration.
Well, all I'm
That's
saying
the
is
truth
I'm
and
not
nothing but the
scolding.
truth. You
I'm not
can't blame
scolding.
me, she can't blame me, and I'm not blaming myself. I met with all of them.
I'm
And
not
when I met
blaming
with
you,
them
I'm
at
just
Old
telling you
Stone,
what I heard.
I don't matter what you heard is not true. This is what's true.
Well,
They
I'm just
wanted,
going off what I said.
listen, they wanted to come in here and do a lot of other things prior to, not before we got elected, but they was not allowed to do that. And all the stuff that they did give to the city of Lowell, to me, it seems it's just impossible, it's unconscionable that you could even think about. Listen, the things that should have been done is over on Lynn Street, they should have moved that whole, we wouldn't be going through what we're going through today if they'd have taken their time to do what was right, but that's the truth, and they didn't want to, they wanted to get this thing done and get it over with and make some kind of big show.
There again, we
And that's
didn't
the
have
truth.
nothing to
But
do with it.
don't tell me what I do. I know what I do. I represent this city every day. I spend my own money. I don't go out here and bum no money from nobody for you.
Hey,
or nobody
nobody
else.
said
I
you
do
are.
what is right for this city every time I open my mouth. I love the town, and I fight for it every day. If Toby was here, he'd tell you the same blame thing.
Well, Toby will
God
tell you
bless
exactly
you, and
what he
let's
said.
get, Toby and I are great friends, we talk occasionally. And what we want to do is to try to get this money up that we are wasting over there, just all these deals we give these people, they're supposed to have right now. They're not doing what they're supposed to be doing. There's no one even working those buildings out there. They promise people like 500 jobs immediately. You don't have enough people working on the lower side, up on Aberdeen down the other way there are, but we still give them the money. We need to revisit everything, I agree with you. Excuse me, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but go
Sorry about
ahead.
that, Richard.
Oh, no, I was kind of enjoying it, to tell you the
Go
truth.
ahead.
Sorry about that.
I'm sure everybody in this room is aware of Doge. Oh, I'm sorry. I fell asleep at the wheel here. Richard Lynch, 613 White Oak Drive, Lowell, North Carolina. Okay. So I'm sure everybody in the room here is aware of Doge and what they're doing in Washington. And if you've been following it, there's a common thread I see almost with everything involved with the corruption, the abuse, the fraud, the waste, and it is grant money. Grant money. And I bring that up because I'm still looking at the grant money that we got for decommissioning our plant that was never voted to be decommissioned. And I got a copy here of the billing records from Withers Ravenel for some of the stuff they did. And it's my understanding that, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I know there's some council people here that were on that council when they signed off on that, but how many of the people that were on that council actually saw the breakdown of the proposal for the $580-some thousand that we were going to spend? The actual breakdown. So that's just it. So they pull this figure as $580-some thousand. We put up $180-some thousand from Lowell, $400,000 in a grant, and lo and behold, Withers Ravenel is $580,000 richer, and what do we have to show for it? That's number one. So putting that aside, I'm still looking into the grant money. I'm looking into where the money went, all the money went. And I just wanted to give you an update with that. I also wanted to give you an update. I'm glad that we had the council members that voted to save our plant, had the knowledge to do that, and that's a great thing. Now, keep in mind, we did that at the end of January. And here it is, it's in the middle of May. And I've been going around talking to people who are involved with the treatment plant, such as the operator, the engineers. I've talked to Rural Waters, I've talked to a couple other people. And lo and behold, it seems like there are 5 or 6 different things going on pertaining to the waste treatment plant, but there's no meshing, there's no meeting of the minds. You got 2 people from Rural Waters that are coming up with ideas. I understand we hired Joel Woods. Did we hire them, or did they just bid? Okay. What was the cost for what they're going to do?
I don't have it in front of me.
Okay. So we hired a consulting firm to come in and do what? Tell us what we need to do at the treatment plant. Okay. So I talked to the plant operator, and he was very impressed with Joel Wood, because basically Joel Wood told him that we should not be spending any money right now until the report comes out, because the report is going to be comprehensive in what we need to do to upgrade, maintain, and keep the plant. So anything that we put in there now outside of emergency expenditures, like I understand a pump went down or something went down with electrical outage a while back, and we had to have somebody come in. But now, from what I understand, and if you talk to the operator, if you talk to the engineer, they may be able to set you right if I'm wrong, but from talking to them, the firm that came in that emergency setting to help us get back into operation, they have now suggested that we put in this $25,000 piece of equipment, and both the operator and the engineer are saying we do not need that. So my question is, this is the operator and the engineer. Do we listen to them or do we listen to somebody outside of the plant? These are people who are there all the time. I suggest we listen to them. I'd also like to make a suggestion that instead of having people from Rural Waters and people from Joel Wood and people from here and people from there meeting in different places, that everything has to go through our town manager. And that any meetings concerning what we're going to do go through him and with everybody sitting down. I'd like to actually see the town manager, the town council, the waste treatment plant operator, the engineer, the people from Rural Waters, the people from Joel Wood, everybody sit down and come up with a plan. Like I said, we've got this money. I understand we've got $8.2 million at our disposal that's supposed to help us with our treatment plant, our water, and our collection system. But here we are, 3 months after we voted to keep the plant, and we don't have a solid plan in action. And I think we need to start getting on to that. I also understand that the monies that were appropriated for this fiscal year for just general maintenance and stuff like that, we've got $80,000 sitting there, and we're not spending that, and this is not the stuff that Joel Woods is talking about. This is just regular, painting and what have you. I think, if I understand, we've got some bids on it, but we haven't released those yet. So whatever it takes to get that going would be good. I would also like to propose that Dan is not going to be around forever, okay? And from my understanding, he's looking maybe 5 years he might retire. Now, we have the money in our budget, in our operating budget, from that waste treatment plant, that we should hire an assistant, and Dan should have a contract making sure that his job is secure for the next 5 years. We should hire an assistant so Dan can train that assistant. Because when Dan, if something, how many of you have ever met with Dan personally? He's not in the best of health, you know that, right? And God forbid if something should happen tomorrow. I mean, they know people that could come in, but it would be better.
Lori Lynch, 613 White Oak Drive. I'm going to turn my time over to Richard.
So I think it would be better if we prepared for the future rather than sit back and then all of a sudden smack with, we don't have an operator. And we do have the money in that budget, in the actual revenues that are generated by that plant, that we cover that. Okay, what else was there? I want to make sure that Tyler is involved with, when I spoke with Troy from Rural Waters, they're putting together a plan, and here's the thing. They're working on a plan of what we need to do. We hired a consulting firm to do a plan of what we need to do, and one doesn't know about the other. And from what I understand, I don't even think Tyler was aware that Rural Waters was working on a plan. Is that true? Yeah. And Rural Waters is working on a plan to guide us on what we need to do with the waste treatment plant. But when I was talking to Troy, the one thing I said is that moving forward so that we can make sure that there's full transparency in everything we do, because I think we've lacked transparency in a lot of what we've done. And moving forward, I had suggested, and before I could open my finish the sentence, he says, and by the way, he says, anything that you need to spend $5,000 or more on in that plant, it needs to get 3 bids. And I agree 100%. There should be no contract out there that's given out that's, over $5,000 where we won't get at least 3 bids on it. So those are the things I think we need to look into moving forward with the plant. We've got the plant, we've got some money to do what we need to do, and I'm hoping that the council will see its way to put together a plan. And Tyler, like I said, I think you should be in charge where nothing happens unless he puts a meeting together of the minds. He's our town manager right now, and that's the way it should be. He should call the people together and say, okay, let's sit down and hammer out a plan, and then present it to council so that the council can present it to the people. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, may I have 30 seconds to reply?
Yes, sir.
Are you accusing previous council of fraud and grant monies?
I will repeat what I said, so that we're clear
Oh,
about
I
this.
heard you the first time. I
Okay,
just
well,
asked yes or no.
well, if you heard me, then you wouldn't have asked the question. I accuse no one. I said one of the things that is coming about is that there's an extreme amount of waste, fraud, abuse, and corruption connected with the grant money in Washington. And it seems to be permeating throughout the country. Is there fraud in here? I can't say. Am I accusing anybody of fraud? No, I haven't done my homework yet. I haven't had the time to investigate fully. But if there is fraud, I'll find it. But I'm not making any accusations now. I will
like
say
it.
this.
That's fine.
You asked a question. I will say this. There's no way we should have spent $580-some thousand to decommission a plant that was never decommissioned, to have a study to do that. That's a waste of money.
Fair enough.
Anyone else like to speak? Okay, no one else to speak. Let's continue with the meeting. We need to adopt the adoption of the agenda for this meeting.
Mr. Mayor, if you may, before we go any further, I would ask leniency from the council. If my health determines I need to bolt out early, I would appreciate the excuse.
You don't even have to ask. If you don't feel good, go home and get some rest.
Thank you.
God bless you. Okay, now we need to adopt the
Make a motion we adopt the agenda for this meeting.
entire agenda as written.
Second.
Any discussion, all in favor? Unanimous, thank you. All right, then the next thing is going to be the Sherwood made the motion, Smith made the second, it's unanimous. All right, the next thing on the agenda is going to be the approval of the minutes for April 8th of 2025. Any changes, or you want to adopt the minutes as written? To the council. So how do you really do one?
I added a sheet.
Yeah, right here.
Added corrections that I saw.
I make a motion to approve the minutes with the added sheet Cheryl printed out.
Second.
Does that sheet include, does it give us the accurate balances of what we calling SIF and general fund money?
That was not part of the amendment.
Which this just made the changes in here, and this, where they paid this money back in,
I think it just wants highlighted here.
Okay.
That's what was changed.
Okay, so it didn't change the total, we don't have, in our agenda, okay, all right, good. Okay, that's good. So we got a motion to approve the minutes for this change in the minutes. We have a second.
I had a second.
Yes, right. Motion second Smith, and motion Smith, second by Bonham. Any discussion? Anyone have any questions? All in favor? Thank you. All right. The betterments on 85. Ms. Gates, if you would lead us to a new highway. Thank you for being here to help us.
Okay. Thank you for having me tonight. I wanted to go over the I-85 betterments, give an update on that, and then present to you a draft agreement with NCDOT for the betterment. So this is something that we've been working on, we being the communities, the Gaston, Cleveland, Lincoln Metropolitan Planning Organization, and NCDOT have been working on for quite a few years now for the I-85 widening project. Well, this worked earlier. It's on. So you may have to do it. I'm sorry. I can try again the next slide. So this is the full widening project as it's scoped by NCDOT. So it's to widen I-85 from US 321 all the way over to the Catawba River. And so they've recently broken the project into 3 kind of distinct segments for the project. The first segment A being from 321 to exit 23. The B segment is from exit 23 over to the Catawba River, and the C segment includes the rail bridges as well as Grove Street Bridge. Yeah, so you're going to have to, it's not working. So this gives a little more information about how the project is being segmented and timelined. So segment B is actually going to come first, and that is being let in July of 2025. And again, that is from exit 23, the McAdenville-Lowell Bridge, over to the Catawba River. So that will be done first. Kind of in tandem with that is the C segment, which is the railroad bridges and the Grove Street Bridge now has been added to that section. And then they will finish with segment A through the city of Gastonia. Again, exit 23 over to US 321. So you can see those timelines there. Expected construction for the B segment, which is first. It's going to be let for construction in July of 2025, but they've told us it will be a good 12 to 16 months before we'll see any dirt moving. Because it's a design-build project, that will give time for the selected design-build firm to go through and fully design the interchanges that's part of that segment, and then the actual roadway widening. So there's going to be some design work that's going to go on once the firm is selected. And again, so even though it says July of 2025 for the construction let, it will be some time before we actually see any construction out there on the corridor. And then you can see segment A would be advertisement in 2028. Probably wouldn't see that let for construction until 2029 or so. All right, next slide. So we've been working on project betterment. So any aesthetic betterments along the corridor. We know that this is kind of the one chance in a lifetime that we have, the only chance for this project that we could really look at the interchanges, the overpasses, what those are going to look like, for generations to come with this project. And it's been talked about for several years with the communities along the corridor and the county about what these structures could potentially look like. Knowing that we want these to look really nice for those living in the community, those that are traveling through the community, and really make a name for Gaston County and what these structures look like. So there's been a few iterations back and forth what these could look like. This is a picture if you go to the beach and you get on the Monroe bypass. This is kind of what we're mimicking, what we would like our structures to look like. With the brick, this is brick stamping. We would actually be doing a brick veneer. And you can see what's being proposed for the overpasses and the interchanges here in Lowell is the brick veneer, some unstained concrete. We've got these medallions on the ends. That could be the city seal, the logo, and then it's cut off from this picture, but the street names would be on the bridges as well. So you can see the breakdown with what that would entail for exit 23, the McAdenville Road Main Street Bridge, as well as the overpass at South Church Street and Grove Street. So you can see the list there of what that would look like. Again, having the brick veneer, the black coated rail across the bridge, and important to note that improvements on exit 22 is only to include pressure washing that existing bridge, the existing concrete components. Unfortunately, with that bridge is not going to be widened. There's enough room under that bridge to add the additional lanes, so that bridge is not going to be reconstructed, and because of that, we cannot affix any of the brick veneer options to that bridge, so it would just be cleaned up.
Excuse me, can I ask you a question? Exit 22
Absolutely.
going towards Charlotte. You said they're not going to widen that, where you just barely can't get on the exit where we have the wrecks every morning? That's not going to enhance, we're not going to make that better than what it is?
So the
All the money we're spending?
the actual length of the bridge is not going to change. There'll be added lanes underneath. That whole interchange is going to look completely different. So it will be easier to get onto and off of the interstate. They'll be extending those ramps to be able to merge on and get off. So it's just the actual length of the bridge is not being changed because there's room under it right now for the additional lanes.
So will they widen the railroad bridge and the Grove Street Bridge? Because I think that, to his point, that's where the issue lies.
Yeah, to my knowledge, and again, I'm speaking on behalf of NCDOT, all of the bridges except for this one are going to have to be removed and reconstructed to be longer to allow for the additional lanes underneath.
So you're saying the bridges will be reconstructed?
Yes, just exit 22 will not be.
Exit 22, and that's where we have the major problems, 22.
Just the bridge.
Just the bridge, right.
She said the lanes are going to be widened underneath it. We only have the same amount.
And extended too. It's just the bridge going across is not having to be
I
reconstructed.
understand what you're saying about the bridge, but I understand this, how can you make it wider when we can't even get on it now? I mean, I don't understand, you don't have so much land space.
They're saying there's enough room for the additional lanes
What-
underneath that
On
one.
85, on any interstate, what is the width of each lane? Do you know, Scott, being a police officer?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I don't-
Typically, lanes are 12. I'm sure that they're a little wider on interstate. That's my assumption. I'm not a traffic engineer, so I don't know the answer to that completely.
If
but-
if the state's going to spend this kind of money, the federal government, everyone's going to be at a disadvantage. If we don't make it better, it doesn't make any sense as far as if we can't get the traffic. And I've said forever, just like I told you earlier when you got here, if they would close that exit going towards Charlotte and up the speed limit to 70 miles an hour, we could save a lot of lives and not have to spend all this money. That being beautiful and making it pretty, that's one thing, but practical and sensible and common sense and spending this kind of money, and we're going to lose a lot of lives. I know it's not up to you. You're just coming up here to do a presentation of what's already been approved. But someone needs to come in here to where we can have a discussion about what's really going to happen and how. You got to show me if the lanes are going to be wide, they're going to have more lanes and it's going to be better. That's a plus. But as far as how pretty the bridge is or the railroad or whatever, we got water lines. We have some kind of water lines, something going on the bridges as well. So everything's got to fall in place. It's not up to me, and it's already been approved. But what you're talking about, I understand, that's what you're projecting to be 20, 25 years from now, and that's about where we're going to be. I'll be dead and gone, but these cats here will probably still be here. But I want to see things done. If you're going to spend money, spend it wisely. That's the whole thing. You know?
So
Make it safer.
the interchange certainly will be improved. It's just the bridge structure is not being replaced on that one. Important to note too that included in the cost estimates for the betterments is black powder coated mast arms at the signals at the interchanges. And then also important to note that this particular municipal agreement does not include any additional lighting across the bridges for any bike ped accommodations. There will be bicycle and pedestrian accommodations, whether it's sidewalks that are going across, but conduit will be laid across the bridges, but it would be up to the communities after construction of the project to then come in and do any type of pedestrian lighting. The interchanges, though, will be lit for highway use for the vehicles, but not the bicycle and pedestrian components of that.
Excuse me, I have another question. One time y'all were talking about putting a roundabout on exit 22.
Yep.
Is that still on the table?
It is still being proposed as
Where is it?
roundabouts at both ramps.
Where can you put it on 22? Where can you put a roundabout? You have that convenience store at the bottom of the hill. That's where the roundabout was originally supposed to go.
There were two.
Then they cut that out, and the state had a big battle with the people trying to develop it, stop it, and start it, and everything else. That would essentially be the only place you could put the roundabout, is it not?
So that particular at the gas station, I believe.
And where the Main Street getting on exit 22, going north or south?
Yeah, so the one at where the gas station is being constructed, that's going back to just a regular signalized
So
intersection.
it's not going to be a roundabout.
not at that one, but there will be roundabouts at the ramps. So where the signals are right now getting onto and off of 85, those would be roundabouts. But the one further down on Kenworthy will be a signalized intersection.
But I think it's safe to say that if you're picturing the off-ramp now, as it is, and the on-ramp, that the roundabout will move more towards
Boulevard.
the center of Lowell than right in that particular spot that is now.
So all of that's really yet to be determined. That will come with the design build. But the maps shown, I believe in 2019, did show the roundabouts at the ramps. It did show a roundabout at Kenworthy, but because of the development, they went back to the drawing board and did the intersection.
Sheeted up even more towards
Yeah.
center of town.
So that's going to be an intersection, a signalized intersection
Let me
now.
ask you another question, since you're talking about that exit 22, Kenworthy, Church Street. Have you obtained any right-of-ways where this new Kenworthy is supposed to be going in? All this is part of this betterment for the whole Church Street area, the Grove Street, all that. Is anyone trying to obtain right-of-ways, properties to do what you're wanting to do? And I think you said you're going to have a bid, supposed to be in 25 this year, right? But it's going to be pushed.
So for segment B, so this is, exit 22 would be part of segment A, so that's later down in timeline. I'm not sure where they're at, they being NCDOT on right-of-way acquisition. I can't answer that question, but.
I understand, but this is serious. You know, when you're developing this much interstate at one time, and you're trying to do exit 22, and we have all the properties on Church Street, and we're sitting back, we have a golden opportunity one time in the history of Lowell to produce, make things to where we can have businesses on Church Street, get rid of Lynn Street, and develop all this stuff together, and all this stuff has to come together. If we could get someone in here, while you're doing all this, I mean, you're spending, you said how much, $1 billion, $2 billion?
1.5 for the whole project.
And they're leaving out the things that really would help Lowell, if we could, from the Aberdeen exit on down, where they come off Aberdeen, all the way down to the boulevard, should all be business and industrial properties. And then we could go in there and fix Lynn Street like it should have been whenever they put in North Point. And we're always going backwards, we're trying, I'm not fussing you because you didn't design this, you're the messenger. But I want you to give a message to them.
Well, it sounds like the question, we need to get NCDOT in here to answer those
Right.
questions.
Yeah.
Maybe Tyler could fix that up for you, but this is MPO, not
But
NCDOT.
you're giving us information, I want to know information as far as what we can do to make Lowell better, and coincide with what we're doing. We're sitting back waiting on, hoping and not knowing, and listen, we don't know if this is going to happen 100%. We're still in the process. No right-of-way's been obtained. Do you have any right-of-ways anywhere?
That's a question for
That's the first thing
NCDOT.
I would be concerned about is getting the right-of-ways to do whatever you're doing. But that's okay.
Yeah.
I understand what you're saying, but I understand while we have an opportunity, we need to take advantage of it. But go ahead, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I just want to ask questions.
So if you'll go to the next slide, Cheryl. Also with the project betterments is landscaping, so enhanced landscaping at the interchanges and overpasses for exit 22 and exit 23. You can see the plantings there. That is something, that level of betterment was what was approved by the council back in February of 2023. So you can see that what that will entail, and also with the roundabouts at exit 22, having stamped concrete, under drains, irrigation system, and planting. So note there that the city would be responsible for the maintenance of the aesthetic components of the interchange and overpass improvements, the brick veneer, the landscaping, the black powder-coated metal poles and mast arms, and all the components of the roundabout center betterments. So if you'll go to the next.
Excuse me, that's a state road, right? How would the city be obligated to do repairs or fix something on a state road?
Because it's betterments.
But who-
The
we have to-
betterments require an agreement with the local community for maintenance.
Maintenance, but not putting in the original deal, right? You're talking about putting in the aesthetics and all the things that has to be done, and it's gonna be done there, we're responsible for that?
Yes,
They had to been drinking.
yeah, that would be the responsibility of the local community. If you'll go to
A
the
lot of
next
money, a lot of
slide.
expense.
So these are the cost estimates for the different components, and it's broken out by the segment for the widening. So with this first one being segment B, again, that's exit 23 over to the Catawba River. So what is within Lowell for this one are the improvements at exit 23 or the NC7 McAdenville Road Main Street interchange. Also, the black powder coated mast arms at the McAdenville Road ramps, and you can see those, so 9 total, and you can see that cost there. And then the interchange landscaping betterment at the enhanced level for exit 23. So for that first segment would be a total of $1.47 million. We'll go to the next slide. With the additional work for the C section, that is Grove Street with the overpass improvements there at a cost of $283,250. And then if you'll go to the next one with segment A, again from exit 23 is included in the B segment, but it would be west of that, would include overpass improvements at South Church Street, interchange improvements, just doing the improvements to the existing bridge, just the pressure washing of the exit 22 bridge. Signals at exit 22, interchange landscape betterments at exit 22, and the roundabout Center Island landscape betterment. So that comes to a total cost of $1,024,725. Go to the next slide. So here are those prices again. That combined total cost is $2,779,150. The segment A, which is going to come later, does have an escalation factor of 4% per year over 3 years. That's something that they're doing for that final segment because we're working on the municipal agreements now, but the actual work won't be done until later. They're going ahead and factoring in that escalation. So that adds an additional $127,951.26 to that, and that's just the escalation on that particular segment. The department, NCDOT, is participating in these local betterments. It's not something that they have typically done. If they do participate, it's mainly just with the landscaping. But the way they calculate their portion, their participation in projects is 1% of the construction cost. 1% of the construction cost for a project of this magnitude was a lot of money. So NCDOT is allowing the local communities to use that portion that's coming from NCDOT on the aesthetics for the bridges as well. So the NCDOT participation for the City of Lowell's agreement is $1,886,461.51. So that brings the municipal participation for the proposed municipal agreement for the I-85 betterments as described to $1,020,639.75. If you'll go to the next slide. So the way that NCDOT has spelled out within the agreement is really upon completion of each segment, again, it was broken into 3 segments, they would invoice Lowell for that betterment piece, the local piece of that. Now, they are more than happy if you wanted to move forward with this. It's up to you if you want to move forward with the betterments. And then how you would want to structure any type of payment plan if you would want to move forward. NCDOT is open to doing quarterly payments, annual payments, however would help the City of Lowell to be able to do these betterments and to be able to fund the betterment. So you're looking over potentially a 10-year period of construction that these payments could be spread out over the 10 years, and that's something that if you're interested, you can certainly work that out with NCDOT, what that would look like, and come up with some type of payment plan. So again, and also important to note that there are no water and sewer lines to be adjusted with this particular municipal agreement. That will be separate. That will be completely separate. NCDOT will bring that to you at a future date.
So you're saying there'll be additional charge for water lines, sewer lines, things like that, our city will have to pay?
Could be. I don't know what the general statute says with the percentages that local communities have to pay when it comes to certain populations. So I don't know if you would have to pay anything or not. That would be a conversation you'd have to have with NCDOT.
We're considered a very small city, and I think there has to be some way that they have to understand a municipality like this can't be responsible for that type of.
Right. And I think there is. I think that's spelled out in the general statutes. I don't know what that is, so that would be something you would have to talk to NCDOT about.
The things that you're speaking about tonight, it's already been voted on, ratified, approved. Then what you're asking us to do, the betterments, to agree, for this board to agree with all the obligations you're sending our way, that we'll be ready to pay this as agreed.
So what has been agreed upon to this point by the city of Lowell was just the level of betterments that you wanted. So a few years ago, we were looking at, there were like high-end betterments, mid-grade, and no betterments. And so the vote that was taken back in 2023 by your city council was the level of betterments that you would like to see for each of those structures, for then NCDOT to go back and bring forward the cost for those. So that's where we're at now.
I hate to interrupt, let me reel this in a little bit, and Ms. Funderburk's back here, and she will probably remember. I think in our discussions over this, we were still waiting to hear what the other affected communities were going to do with their overpasses. We said, yeah, we'd like to entertain this. I don't know that we ever approved or agreed that there were said, stamped, my gosh, this is what we're going to do kind of thing, which leads me to the next question. We don't want to do a betterment in Lowell that Belmont's not going to do or Gastonia's not going to do. We don't want this hogwash of whatever is going on up and down the interstate. So the reality to sit there and say, hey, do you want to approve this or not? We don't know what others are doing.
So I can speak to that. So the city of Belmont did approve their betterments, and all the betterments look the same on all of the structures. That was kind of stuff that we had talked about.
We originally talked there was a good, better, best, or a basic, like you're not doing anything to 22.
Right.
And then there was a mid-range, and then there was this.
Yes.
So we had to be consistent throughout the corridor.
That's correct.
And we never got a final, Ms. Funderburk, if you recall, did we ever get anything
I
back?
don't believe so, plus we were waiting for the cost. We never knew anything. that was gonna
Exactly.
be-
Right, so that's where we're at now. So what is before you is the municipal agreement for you to approve or not to approve with all of this. And that municipal agreement spells out the cost. So City of Belmont, they approved their municipal agreement with the betterments for exit, I guess it would be exit 26 and some on exit 27. They approved that several weeks ago. City of Gastonia approved their betterments for all of the bridge structures in Gastonia. That was approved, $2.6 million was approved last week. And then there is the Hickory Grove Bridge. That's in the county jurisdiction. The county is taking action on May 27th. So that's when they will take action on theirs.
So if we want McAdenville to have a piece of this, we need to go to them.
So
City of Lowell has to go to McAdenville and say.
So it was decided several years ago when we were talking about this, that I think it was action by the council, may have been at that same February 2023 meeting, is that, so we looked at the actual jurisdiction of the exit 23. It is Lowell, and then that way you're getting all the funding from NCDOT from that particular structure. You're not splitting it with McAdenville, that Lowell would just take the lead on that.
What you're suggesting or bringing before us tonight is just letting us know how much our expected cost will be to do these betterments. And then if they accept it, they'll have to be ready to pay it when the time comes.
That's correct.
We really don't, you don't know, and I don't know either, when it's actually going to take place, and as time keeps getting pushed back, costs it goes up and up and up. But we need to have infrastructure for ourselves that we need to be thinking about. It's going to bring revenue in. It's going to be beneficial when these roads are widened and the interstate takes place. But we can't sit back. So that's the problem. We can't sit here and wait till the time comes when we have to raise all this money. Right now, we should be changing zoning, things like that for the city to bring in money. Correct, Tyler, as a planner? We need to be updating and like changing these zoning like on Church Street, things like that, to where we can bring more businesses in, industry and things like that, to where we'll have money to pay for these things. We got the interstates, we should take advantage of it. And all these properties sitting on Church Street and the new Kenworthy property down there behind the church and all the Masonic Temple or what they got down there.
That don't have anything to
And
do
all
with
this-
85 betterments.
It does, as far as having, you're gonna have to pay for this.
The
You're
one
gonna
point-
have to have money.
The 1.6, does that change? I mean, I know we've been talking about this for years. Does that go up as building costs go up, or is this a set in stone amount?
So if you can go to the
The very last page, the 1 million.
Yep, so the $1,020,639 is the amount that's set forth in the agreement. The agreement does say, though, that upon completion of each phase of the project, if you'll go to the next slide, it's on there, so you can be looking at it as I'm reading it. But upon the completion of each phase of the project, NCDOT will calculate the actual cost of the project and will invoice the city of Lowell for their share of the actual cost. So that is why they went ahead and put in the escalation factor for the segment that's going to be later in timeline. They feel they've done all that they can right now to get the best cost estimate they possibly can. The department participation, so the funding coming from NCDOT, that is not going to change. That number is not going to increase or decrease. But the final numbers could be different depending upon the final cost of the actual work completed. But again, you know, it's in 3 segments for Lowell, so that payment could be spread out. That's something that you can certainly negotiate to put that language in the municipal agreement before it's signed. What's in there right now states that it would be kind of lump sum after each segment, but again, they are certainly open to a payment plan.
What you're suggesting are things that they're talking about the estimates right now. These estimates are now, fit costs right now. Anyone with common sense knows costs will go up. But we have to be ready in the interim to raise these funds without having to raise taxes, water and sewer, to do it and go ahead and have projects in place to where y'all should be out here helping us obtain the right-of-ways, and where our council needs to take the time to adjust our zoning to upgrade from residential to where you have a major highway coming out, off 22 and 23. If we don't keep up with the times and get ahead of it, we're gonna have $150,000, $200,000 houses sitting on Church Street that's not gonna be any beneficial as far as bringing money, revenue to the city. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about, like, anything we have that we can bring, it can raise money without raising taxes and better yourself and make the town better without going out to the extreme. But with all the stuff you're giving us, the highways and all the things that we have, the amenities, this is the only city in the United States that has 2 exits off of 85, 22 and 23. We have the railroad, 2 major highways, 7, Highway 74, the river and the railroad, and never flourished. And still, we're sitting here right now in 2025, Ed talks about the future and the present and the past, but this is the future. We have an opportunity now to get Lowell ahead, way ahead, and not wait until you start construction, probably 5 or 10 years before you really see anything. But we need to have things in place as to what we want to have as far as what's going to bring revenue to this city. That's vision. That comes from a planner, it comes from this council, and it comes from people like you that come in and give us this opportunity. But we need to take advantage of what we've never taken advantage of before. We have nothing in this city as far as bringing in revenue. We've lost all the mills, all the chemical plants. We have nothing, but we need to turn it around. That's not politics. That's the truth. We've got to do it. But thank you. Keep going. I'm sorry.
That concludes my presentation, unless you've got any other questions. So the recommended, yes.
This is not a betterments question. I'm setting you up to fail. right now, just fair warning. But we are going to want to know, can you tell us when? If we're gonna see dirt moving around in '26, we do need to have to plan, let our businesses, everybody know, when we blowing up '23?
Yeah, so that.
How long is that gonna be down?
Yep.
That sort of thing.
So great question. So we are actually meeting with NCDOT tomorrow for an I-85 communications planning meeting. So NCDOT has hired a communications firm solely to do the communications for the I-85 widening project, this particular project. So we're actually meeting with them to talk through what that's going to look like, how that information is going to get out to our communities, to the citizens, to those that are traveling through here to try to get, from Cleveland County over to Mecklenburg County or wherever they're going. So we'll certainly have more information of how that communication plan is going to be pushed out to the communities
Right.
after we meet with them.
Okay.
Yep.
Fair enough.
Anyone have any questions? Go ahead.
Yeah, I do. So at one point, this was either every municipality, does the betterments or no one does it.
Another great question. Yes, so.
Is that still?
Sorry, I failed to mention that. So they have changed their tune as of last week. I did get confirmation that this is no longer an all or nothing. So Belmont and Gastonia have already approved theirs. Their approval is not contingent upon what you decide or what Gaston County decides. That the aesthetic pieces, the look of everything had to be the same. So, the brick veneer that is going to be on exit 26, but it didn't mean that every single community had to decide to pay him.
23 is not going to be the same as 22, even if we agree to this.
That's right, since they can't do the brick veneer on 22. That's correct.
The issues were that they weren't going to do anything really with the railroad bridge.
That's still correct. They're not going to have any aesthetic betterments on those rail
There are two
bridges.
bridges that are
Yeah.
gonna, so that brings me to my last question is, so the department says they're gonna put in 1%, which ends up for us at $1.8 million.
Mm-hmm.
If we scale back some of our betterments, do we still get that 1.8 to do that with? Or do we have to put this $1 million in to get that 1.8 in those?
So you're hypothetically, like if you didn't want to do any improvements to Grove Street, if you took that out,
For certain things.
would you still get the 1.8? Unfortunately, I don't know the answer to that. With me not being NCDOT, I don't know the answer to that. I can certainly try to get that answer for you. Yep. But good question.
Yeah, good question. Both of y'all
Yeah.
good questions, I tell you. We gotta move forward though. Anyone else have any questions?
What's the deadline that you need to have an answer by through?
So they wanted a response by the end of May for these, just because the first segment is going to be let for construction in July, because that's going to be in the bid documents. So I can certainly go back to NCDOT to see if we can get some time of timeline extension. They were hoping though by the end of May they would know.
You answered my question, that's state maintained road, and the other question mine was about the betterments. It was something that was decided by the 2023 council. It wasn't something that was a mandatory
Never been
requirement.
approved.
No, the levels of betterments
Right, it's just
that you
the
would like
levels
to
is what-
see for the cost
Right.
estimates, right? Yeah.
So if we didn't want the betterments, then they're still going to redo the bridge, correct?
Yes, the project is still gonna go on, it just won't have the brick veneer, the landscaping, the things, those components to it.
Right.
But they're still gonna move
They
ahead
still have to
with,
do redo the bridge.
yes,
Okay.
yes.
The only issue for us is, exit 23 is not going to have the veneer if we do it. 22 is going to look nice with the veneer.
Or exit 23, but not 22.
I got-
Yeah.
23 is
Going in
not,
the middle with nothing.
I've got them backwards. 23
Yeah, I even asked, like, can we do anything to exit 22? Could you affix the brick veneer, something? And they said,
So no
No.
medallions, no, nothing.
I don't think you can add anything to it.
Pressure washed, basically.
That's what I was told.
So if we don't do the agreement with the betterments, who's responsible for the maintenance and the landscaping and all that?
There will be no landscaping.
I mean, like right now, the state comes in and they cut the grass and all that. and what we're
Yeah,
supposed to
they'll
do
still
now.
do that, but there won't be any, like, the flowers that were shown in the picture or anything like that to maintain.
My thought process, we're gonna spend $1,020,000, and then we're gonna have to add an additional so many thousands and thousands of dollars to, Public Works for them, or get contracted in to get that taken care of, landscaped and taking care of landscape. So then we're still looking at an additional costs down the
Well, that was
road.
kind of my point for if we still take the 1.8, maybe we make some of the bridges look a little better, but not do some of the landscape type stuff that we don't have to maintain.
But if we,
So I would really like to know the answer to that before I made my decision.
Yeah, and you would still be maintaining the aesthetic components of the bridges, yeah. But I can certainly try to find out that.
If you can let Tyler know that.
excuse me, when are the real projections, when are they gonna start moving dirt? I mean, when are they gonna, and no right of way is obtained, and that's what
Somebody just
Well-
asked that a minute
I'm
ago.
asking her.
So they,
Somebody did, who asked that?
I didn't hear the answer, I'm asking her again.
so they've been working on right of way, I just don't know where they're at on that.
When do you
But
think the actual dirt will be started?
For the-
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the answer a while ago, I apologize.
For the first segment, so on the eastern side of the project, that project is going to be let for construction in July 2025, so in a few months. But they've told us not to expect to see any dirt moving for a good 12 to 16 months after that July 2025, because they're going to be working on design. It is a design-build project, so they still have some design work up front before they start actual construction.
No, I appreciate all this, but the whole thing about it is, we're sitting here on a gold mine, we've had a gold mine in Lowell forever, and no one's ever taken advantage of anything. If we'd start right now, or just as soon as Tyler can come up with something planning to help us, enable us to bring in the industries and think, listen, people would love to have these places off the interstate, businesses and everything, all the restaurants and things like that. But we have to take the initiative to say, look, this is what potential we're gonna have, and people will buy it, but you gotta rezone it, revamp it, and move forward. If you don't, we're gonna be stuck paying these bills forever, and take advantage of what God gave you, everything. Anyway, anyone else have questions? And thank you, you did a good presentation.
Thank you.
You're gonna have to take the full button, hold on. Here we go. All right, the next thing on the agenda is the proclamation for the National Public Works Week. I'm gonna read the proclamation as stated. It says, whereas May 18 to 24, 2020, 18 to 24, to 18 to 24, 2025 has been designated as Public Works Week, in which we pause to reflect on the contribution of the public works staff, and whereas public works professionals focus on infrastructure, facilities, and services that are of vital importance to sustainability and resilient communities and to the public health, high quality of life and well-being of the people of the city of Lowell, North Carolina. Whereas these infrastructure facilities and services could not be provided without the dedicated efforts of public works professionals who are engineers, managers, and employees at all levels of government and the private sector who are responsible for rebuilding, improving, and protecting our nation's transportation, water supply, water treatment, solid waste systems, public buildings, and other structures and facilities essential for our citizens. And whereas it is the public interest for the citizens, civic leaders, and children, that's good, in Lowell, North Carolina, to gain knowledge of and to maintain an ongoing interest and understanding of the importance of public works and public works programs in their respective communities. And whereas the year 2025 marks the 65th annual National Public Works Week, sponsored by the American Public Works Association, Canadian Public Works Association, be it now. Now therefore, the City of Lowell, City Council do hereby designate the week of May 18th to 24th, 2025 as National Public Works Week. I urge all citizens to join with representatives of the American Public Association and agency activities events to ceremonies designed to pay tribute to our public works professionals, engineers, managers, and employees, and to recognize the substantial contributions they make to protecting our national health, safety, and quality of life. I, Larry Simons, proclaim that to do that, but I need a motion first to adopt this.
Make a motion we adopt proclamation 02-2025.
Motion by Scott, second by
Second.
Mr. Smith. Any discussion? All in favor? Thank you, it's unanimous. I'll go ahead and sign this. If you give this to Cheryl, she won't have to hunt me down. Pass that on over there.
Before we go any further, Mayor, did we need something on this betterments? Did you need some kind of, or just a presentation? Tyler, anybody?
Well, I think we was probably going to decide something, but Shane said he would like an answer to his question before he made a decision.
With nothing was ever said, we just went on to the next subject, so that's why I
So
was.
it's on the agenda for a special presentation. If you all want to take action, probably the best thing to do is to put it on, add it, you can amend the agenda, add it to new business, take action on it tonight. If you don't want to do that, then you should probably give Tyler direction to when to bring it back to you and when to put it on and what to do, what you want to do.
I think it's a great idea, just
Or
to
the
table it
question-
tonight.
The questions that Shane was asked, that's what needs to be answered.
Okay, go ahead and ask the question again, Shane. I'm sorry, what was your question?
Well, she'll have to get back to him. She said she'll get back to him.
Well, I mean, then, that's why I went on to the next thing, because that's what I understood to
That's
say.
why I was
you know,
asking.
And just move on and go ahead and set it on for the next agenda. This is just information tonight. There's no action to be
I
taken.
know they want it by the
End of the
end of the month,
Yes, sir.
but
I just felt like we needed to know something instead of just leaving her in the, I felt like we were leaving her in the dark.
yeah, it's kind of went a long way at this point. If it carries into another week or two.
But
And
this
I've
ha-
asked that question too, if we could have an extension to the first meeting for a decision.
and we could call
So
a
if we can
special.
get it on the agenda for our next council meeting to make a decision at that meeting.
Well, if you want to make a motion then to have it, I guess, to add it to the agenda for next month, we don't really have to. I can just give directions to Tyler to do, that's fine. That's good. And I wasn't being rude. I thought everything was, we wasn't gonna make no decision tonight,
I
no way.
wasn't saying you're rude, I just wanted to make sure to clarify myself.
Shane, you want to be excused, you want to go ahead and stay with us?
I'm trying to hang out here for.
Okay, go ahead. All right, then the next thing on the agenda is the proclamation for National Police Week.
Mayor, I'm passing you, these are the ones that she wants you to sign for the proclamations. You want to read off of them, that's fine. The first one you already read, you have to re-sign it.
I'll get them out of the way too, so you don't have to hunt me down. But, there was nothing else. Very good, thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you. All right. The next thing on the agenda, I'm trying to get this thing here, but I'm tired. Is the proclamation of the National Police Week. We're good, and Peace Officer Memorial. And in doing this, we got to remember those officers we lost last year in Charlotte. And all that was terrible, and we need to all stand united behind their police departments everywhere. But this is what this proclamation says, and I think it's a good one. It's called National Police Week, May 11 to 17, 2025, Peace Officer Memorial Day, which is May the 15th, 2025. This proclamation is from 0325. Whereas throughout our nation, law enforcement officers serve diligently with unwavering dedication to uphold the rule of law, safeguard our communities, and protect the rights and liberties of all citizens. And whereas these brave men and women of law enforcement selflessly put their lives on the line each day to ensure the safety and security of our neighborhoods, often facing grave dangers and challenges in the line of duty. And whereas National Police Week observed annually provides an opportunity for all Americans to express gratitude to law enforcement officers for their tireless commitment and sacrifices, and to honor those who have made the ultimate sacrifice in service to their communities. And whereas Peace Officers Memorial Day, observed May the 15th, serves as a solemn occasion to pay tribute to the memory of law enforcement officers who lost their lives in the line of duty, and to honor their enduring legacy of courage, valor, and service. And whereas the City of Lowell, North Carolina recognizes the invaluable contributions of law enforcement officers to our community, acknowledge their integral role in steering a safe, just, and inclusive society for all residents. Therefore, I, Larry Simons, Mayor of Lowell, do hereby proclaim the week of May 11th through May the 17th, 2025 as National Police Week in our city. I call upon all residents to join in honoring our law enforcement officers, expressing gratitude for their dedication and recognizing their sacrifices. Furthermore, I designate May the 15th, 2025 as Peace Officers Memorial Day in Lowell and urge all residents to observe this day with reverence and reflection, honoring the memory of those officers who have given their lives in service to our community. In witness thereof, I have set my hand and caused the official seal of the city of Lowell to be affixed this the 13th day of May 2025. I need a motion.
Make the motion, we accept proclamation 03-2025.
Motion by Mr. Bates, second by
Second.
Mr. Chitwood. Any discussion? All in favor? Thank you. I think we ought to give our police department a hand. I tell you, they really work hard. We appreciate all of you, and thank you.
We'll give a hand to the Public Works too.
Yeah, I'm glad you remember that. Thank you, that's the truth. We need to give everyone a hand. Everyone, all the people who work up in our city staff everywhere, our great city manager doing a tremendous job. I'm proud of him. He's gonna give this to her. I appreciate it. Thank you. All right, then the next thing we got, city clerk.
Consent agenda.
I'm sorry, consent agenda, I'm sorry.
Make the motion, we approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Bates, second by Mr. Smith. All in favor? Thank you. All right. The next thing is the interlocal tax agreement.
Yes,
Go ahead, Tyler.
Yep, so this is the tax agreement from the county, what they will charge to collect our taxes. It was tabled at the last meeting because a question was asked about the Unified Fire District tax. I did get that clarified, and it was determined that we would not be responsible for that amount. So we will only be responsible for the $22,155. Just need a motion to approve that.
Need a
Make a motion, we approve the
Motion by Chitwood, second by
Second.
Mr. Robinson.
tax agreement.
Second by Mr. Robinson. All in favor? Thank you. Mr. Robinson? Okay, we got to set the public hearing for the fiscal year 2026 budget.
Make a motion, we set the public hearing for fiscal year 2026 for the next meeting, which will be June the 10th at 6 p.m.
Okay.
Second.
We got a motion by Chitwood, second by Mr. Smith. All in favor? Thank you. The next thing is the interlocal agreement for telecommunications.
When you look at the budget, look at this.
Mr. Chitwood made the motion, Mr. Smith seconded.
Travis second.
And all of them voted in favor.
And the budget message too.
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
Okay, we're just trying to get out of here, we're hungry. Anyway, next thing, next thing is the interlocal agreement for telecommunications. That's pretty much standard, isn't it?
Yeah, so the town of Dallas is wanting to enter in the interlocal agreement that we already have in place to get on the New World system. We needed to update the interlocal we currently have to add Dallas to that.
That's the only reason why we're adding this.
That's the only reason why, yeah, this is to add
We
Dallas.
still need a motion, right?
Still need, yep, need a motion.
You need a motion to accept this.
Make a motion to approve the interlocal agreement for telecommunications.
Motion by Mr. Smith, second by
Second.
Mr. Bates. All in favor? Thank you. The next item. Oh, my goodness. Mr. Smith made the motion, Mr. Bates seconded. Everyone voted in favor, even the people in the hallway. Then we gotta go to the next thing is the new police vehicle discussion. Who's got that? You, Tyler?
Yep, so it was determined that the second vehicle that was involved in an accident was going to be totaled out. So therefore, we'll still be down one vehicle and just asking for approval for the purchase of an additional Ford Explorer. It is on the ground and ready for purchase.
It's on hold until tomorrow. It's on hold until
Yeah,
tomorrow.
we have it on
for
hold,
us.
yeah.
Have you received a check for the vehicle got totaled?
Yeah, we received the first one. I'm not sure if we
Do
received
we
the
need a
second.
motion to go ahead and purchase this? It's already been purchased.
We have the first one is being upfitted right now. We need a motion to approve the
This is
second.
for the second one.
For the
They
second.
got total.
Okay, need a motion to, need a
Make the motion that we go ahead with the
purchase.
purchase of a new police vehicle.
Good, we got a
The
motion.
Explorer.
Motion, Mr. Bates, second by
Second.
Chitwood and Bates. Chitwood and Smith. So it's
On
time.
discussion, I just want to ask, just wanted to ask, all of these vehicles are going to be patrol vehicles. They're not going supervisors.
The-
second one's gonna go supervisor. The reason why, back in February, with the car out back, the 18, that's one that was scheduled to take off the road. When the engine had the engine failure, we took a administration vehicle and outfitted it for patrol. So now one of our supervisors is in a 2017.
It was I think it was our understanding that the 3 new ones we were gonna purchase in July were patrol vehicles.
That's correct.
That's right.
And the 2 that are total were patrol vehicles, correct?
But they were with
The 2017, I mean, when the engine blew in the one,
yes.
the admin vehicle was taken out of admin and put into upfitted and put into patrol, leaving one admin driving a 2017 car that was due to come off the road.
So can that used to be admin vehicle not go back to the admin and?
It's been upfitted for patrol.
How far out is this one going? These things are getting too far out of mileage, or getting, who's that one going to? The new Explorer, if we approve it,
Go to Assistant Chief Harrison.
and he's not that far away. But his mileage from here to house is not that far.
No, that's where it's not on.
No, I didn't even know where he lived,
Any more discussion?
Who seconded the motion?
Should I make the
but either one, we both say it at the same time.
You can just put both now. I say Smith got it. Smith seconded and Bates made the motion. We're on discussion anyway.
Yeah.
Any more discussion?
I'm done.
Everyone is happy? Okay, we've got a motion, a second, all in favor? Thank you. Unanimous, thank you. All right, the next thing on the agenda is going to be the clock, right?
That's correct.
And let's get that clock fixed.
So I'll just start off by saying that I know the clock discussion had, a decision had been made about the clock, that this council had decided not to proceed with the clock. It was brought back up to my attention that this was to be put back on the agenda for discussion, for the final say of what was going to happen. So I just need a motion to see what's going to happen with the proceeding of this clock.
And to go in discussion, I was the one that said that in the minutes of our last meeting, to just add it to today's
That's right.
agenda, because we were kind of going off track at the last meeting. I'm all for fixing the clock, y'all all know that, and I understand the rest of the council is in disagreement, but
We have
just
an opportunity.
final discussion on the clock to just get it done and over with.
So here's the whole thing about, I think Tyler, with all the information that you received about the clock, and knowing that the clock does belong to the city because it was dedicated to the city at the time they put it up. I gave you all the information for that. And I appreciate you putting this on the agenda tonight, Mr. Smith, and I appreciate you bringing it for us, Mr. Cobb. But we have got to, it's $7,300. It's so trivial, it's not funny. And we'll, if we have to, we'll donate the money, but here's the thing about it, it belongs to the city. And all the citizens, everyone rides by it every day and sees it's not working. And we get the warranty once this thing is done. I believe is that what the contract says, Tyler? There'll be a warranty on it for whatever time.
I think that was part of the problem, there was no warranty.
There was no warranty, and
I think
the way I
it's
understood it, it was
Maintenance.
the maintenance at, what was it, Ed, you said it, 1 or 2 years? Maintenance every 1 or 2 years?
That's what was in their
Report?
and paperwork.
It's the same thing I got out of Post Clark, from the Ben Verdon Company.
Yeah, we got a copy of it too.
That's good.
Yeah, I think,
think
for
it's
me, are we looking at it as, for me personally, I believe it's an asset to the city. I think it's a nice piece to look at. You know, it just represents southern towns. You know, every main street corner's got one. It ties everything together. So for me, to your point, this is not a lot of money in the grand scheme of things. And God forbid, we spend an annual contract keeping something up to speed. Heaven forbid, we take care of our stuff.
That's
You know, I mean,
Well, I mean,
that's my opinion.
They've had it for over 20 years and they never done any maintenance on
Wait a
it.
minute,
So we have
wait a
an-
minute,
we
it's
have
been
an
kept up.
We have an
Wow.
opportunity
It's been
now.
kept up, man.
So, I mean, Mr. Cobb, how many, besides Facebook, because everybody talks on Facebook, like Phil always says, Facebook warriors, they always talk on Facebook, but how many complaints have you received from any citizen calling in to any one of the workers about the,
I haven't received any.
I'm sorry?
I haven't received any.
So, and I mean, because me personally, no, I don't agree with fixing the clock. One of the older citizens, well, that's fine, you can call me crazy if you want to.
I said it's crazy.
One of the older citizens wants to know why we're going to fix it. Everybody has clocks on their cars, clocks on their phone, watches.
It's like,
So, I mean, I'm just going off what I seen on Facebook, one of the citizens that's very well known around here. I'm not calling the person out on Facebook, but it's well known, and they said that too, and I agree with them.
here's the whole thing about it. You said there was no maintenance. Listen, we had two citizens in this town that loved that clock. Mr. Biddy and Mr. Hallman. They spent their money, their time, they never asked for a penny. And this was up to date, up until about 3 or 4 years ago when it quit working, and no one's taken the time to fix it. And it's a beautiful clock, and it should be working. It was dedicated for all the mayors. Mr. Horn died at the time. You have all the particulars about it. It was given to the city, the city accepted it. So the clock belongs to the city. You can sit here and not take care of your property if you want to. And I don't understand what's the grandiose deal about not spending $7,000 to fix something that's so beautiful in our town to where we should be proud of it. And it's ours. It's given to us. It belongs to the city. And it should be taken, just like these cars, these trucks and things you spend money on. That's ours. We got to take care of it. This clock belongs to the city, correct? Is that not what the minutes read? When it was dedicated? You had all the stuff that I
don't think
gave
anybody's
you?
questioning whether the
And that's our
clock
clock.
belongs to the city or not. It's just that, for me personally, my issue is if we spend $6, $7 grand, are we guaranteed the clock's gonna work?
Well, sure it is.
Well, then you're gonna have to spend.
The last time that
Listen,
The
if
last
the
one
clock
you got-
don't work and I spend it,
Listen,
I'll
Mayor.
give you the money back.
you spoke, let me speak.
Go ahead.
The company will not guarantee that this clock will run 3 years, 10 years, 20 years. So if they can't guarantee it, we're spending $7,000, are we gonna turn around 6 years from now and have to spend another $7,000 because it's went out again? Or do we do a 2-year maintenance contract, which, my understanding, I think Ms. Funderburk had called the company, and it was anywhere between $600 to $800 just for travel time for that company to come down here for maintenance.
Let me explain something.
So there's nothing to explain on that part. I understand where you're coming from, and I respect that. I personally think it's a waste of money. It's a waste of taxpayers' money to keep putting it in here. We can leave that clock up out there, but how many people stop and look at that clock to see what time it is? It looks good sitting there, I agree. The aesthetics of it, it's nice looking. But I don't think we need to be putting that kind of money, especially taxpayers' money, into something that we can't promise is gonna work 6 years from now, 10 years from now.
I respect what you're saying, but here, let me ask you this. You go to the doctor, you give them money to treat you and take care of you, but you don't have no guarantee
Doctor's
that.
different. I'm expecting the doctor to heal me. That clock ain't gonna heal me.
It's gonna tell you what time it is, though. It's gonna be beautiful for the citizens.
I've got a watch on, it tells me what time it is, Mayor.
I understand.
Thank
I
you.
would like to mention this, though, along those lines. If the council sees fit that we're not gonna fix this clock, then it needs to come down.
I don't wanna see.
That's what should have been done
I
first
mean,
time.
if, to sit there and have something broken
It's terrible.
that we're not willing to fix, just tells everybody that runs by, you know, they're not fixing it, it's broken. You know, it's just not a good look, it's gotta come down. Again, I think we ought to fix it and move forward, but if we're not gonna fix it,
It's not
at least mothball it, don't ditch it. Mothball it until we decide we wanna put it somewhere else and invest the money in it or whatever, but,
I think that, you know, this is so true, it's just, I don't even understand the question. I mean, these $7,000 out of a budget, how much of our budget is less than what, about 15 cent of our tax rate? Maybe not, no, maybe 1 cent out of the tax, not even 1 cent. But this is just unconscionable, even to think that you wouldn't fix something that you own. It's our clock. It's just, it needs to be maintained and taken care of. It's sad though, the people, and you got families in this town that was put up for, erected and paid for by citizens and dedicated to the city, and the city took it. And there's no reason not to, you know, we're obligated to take care of all of our city property. That belongs to the city, 100%, there's no question. And if you just sit there, okay, what about if someone didn't like the police car? They say, okay, don't fix it. You know, nobody likes it or whatever. Nobody likes the color of a truck. Park it. The clock's just sitting out there to give people something to be proud of.
Can't compare the clock to a police car when that's public safety.
That clock
is not public safety, so you can't compare them.
If you had a wreck out there and you didn't have a watch on, you know what time the accident happened. You could report that.
I mean, I do agree with Phil as far as not fixing. If we're not gonna fix it, you know, we do need to take it down.
I just think it's wrong to have to send a message out there to the public, we don't want to take care of our own property, our clock, a $7,000 job. And I know that, I don't see where where it's gonna break us or hurt us in any way, shape, form, or fashion. It'll be something that you can say, look, we fixed the clock, I'm proud of it, I'm proud of this council, they did something, it's wonderful.
Fixing the clock or not, in my opinion, you go to every town in Gaston County, they have a clock. I'm sure they all work, but regardless if ours don't, I wouldn't want to tear it down and put it in storage.
Tear it down.
I'm not saying tear it down, but put it up in storage. I wouldn't want it gone.
So with that repair, was that both sides? I know that's like a dual.
Two meters, yeah.
So that's both sides.
That's a second hand and a hand, an hour hand together. Two different motors. We've got all the particulars on how it operates.
Yeah, the electric is good. We've had that checked.
Yeah, we got the power. That's good. Ed's got the power.
Yeah. And you can manually adjust it in the bottom. It just, if it's at 2 o'clock now, it's not going to 2:01. It just stays as is.
Groundhog Day.
I'll throw it out there and make a motion to fix the clock.
Have a second.
Second.
Motion, Mr. Smith, second, Mr. Bonham. Any discussion? All in favor? Hallelujah, 3-2. That's worth the damn standing ovation. That's good, 3-2, that's good. But thank y'all for fixing it.
All opposed?
All opposed, I'm sorry. 3-2, that's good, at least it passed. Thank y'all, all of you who voted for it, against, that's your prerogative, but still, we need to do something good, that's great. Next thing is gonna be I'm sorry. Motion by Mr. Smith, second by Mr. Bonham. It's 3-2. Mr. Robinson in favor of it, and Mr. Bates, Mr. Chitwood opposed.
Okay.
Thank you.
When's it gonna be fixed, Mayor?
He's gonna sit here, give us, he got that, just call him and tell him to come fix it. I don't know. He'll fix it. You'll be proud of it in the end. All right, the recreational center re-roof discussion. What, you have a bid for 100, what is it?
So I got, in your packet, you have 3 bids in there for the proposal to re-roof the gym. My recommendation is to move forward with re-roofing the facility down there. We did get the floor repaired, and we haven't had one in the past week or so, but we have had a couple of leaks around the drains. We have had those fixed. Some of them have held up, some of them have not held up. I went out and got 3 bids, or 3 quotes, to get the re-roof. Those are in your packet, but I would need a motion to move forward with this.
We need a motion to, what was the name of the company, how much was it?
The bid on there for the.
That's a low bid, right?
Yeah, the low bid was $114,900.
What kind of warranty do you have with that on this?
That is a 25-year warranty on labor and materials.
Long overdue. We have a motion to do that.
I would just like to make a discussion.
I'm sorry, we have to have a motion a second, then we have discussion.
I can talk about it, we can discuss it, it's fine. Redoing the floor, working on the inside, Andre's doing great down there getting this stuff done, getting our rec department going. Again, I think that's something, I think the roof's 20 years old, older?
20, 25
and it has
years
been
old.
patched, and this is just a, kind of a, we gotta take care of what we got, and I think that this would be a great,
So we need a motion
Great thing to
second,
do.
then we'll have discussion. We'll make a motion to go ahead and hire this
I'll
company.
make a motion
All right, have a
to
second.
approve the
Bid
bid for $114,900.
as written. Have a
As-
second. Have a motion, Mr. Smith, second by I guess we're not putting on you.
I'll make a second.
We got a second, now we can have discussion, thank you. Second by Mr. Robinson. And
So where's this money coming from?
Come from the SIF.
All right, before I make a decision, I want to know when are we going to start with Public Works? And how is it? Because I believe we were already talking about that. Is there enough money to start Public Works in order to pay this $115,000?
Yeah, I'll check, confirm it to make sure that there is.
Because I mean, we've talked and talked and talked about Public Works, and we haven't seen.
Yeah, I haven't got the numbers back on that yet, on the updated information.
this is not talking about public works, this is talking about roofing, but it's long
Right,
overdue.
but I don't want to take money out of.
I understand,
Out
but
of one pocket to pay for another project that we're trying to get going.
I understand, but when it comes to your opportunity to speak, you can talk about public works. And right now, we're talking about this roof.
I believe I'm talking, hold on, I believe it was me talking, you don't know what you're talking about there, Mr. Mayor. So the question I was asking
Yeah, I can
was
get-
that, it ain't,
I can-
I'm
I can get that
not
information.
inquiring if we're getting ready to start Public Works, what I'm inquiring
What the
is,
number is.
are we gonna have enough money, enough funds?
Does this set it
Yeah,
back?
it's got nothing
Does
to do
this
with
set, yeah, does this set it back? Thank you, Mr.
Yeah. I'll check.
Got a motion and a second to pay for to get the roof done. You said, how was it, a 25-year warranty? How much was the total
Labor
price?
and materials.
But
Total price is how much?
on that, my question, because I'm gonna be voting no, because I wanna know that question. I don't mind it, Larry. Let people talk. I mean, you talk over us like we're kids. But anyway, because I think personally it needs to be tabled until we figure it out because like I said,
If
Public
you want
Works,
the answer to that question, I agree 100%. Just table it on
table
the
till next
agenda.
June, till
That's
June.
fine.
And
If
bring us the
that'll help
numbers,
out,
if we're gonna
that's
have
the
enough
decision.
fund money.
Because we're not even sure how much we have in SIF fund.
Exactly, because we get different numbers, one number this and one number that week.
Listen, you got a motion and a second on the floor. No one's retracted any motion, no one made a substitute motion. But this roof's long overdue. And what
Oh,
you-
I understand that.
But what we got is a motion and a second on the floor to purchase a roof. And that's nothing to do with public works.
No, it's the SIF that we're talking
It's the
about.
SIF money, it's the money it's the funding of it.
It's
We're
a
talking-
discussion.
But it's
Tell
not,
me, we got a,
Discussion.
that's not tied into a roof.
we got an expiration date on this bid? I don't see it on the bid itself.
I didn't see one either, at least hopefully 30 or 60 days.
Yeah, I
Yeah, I
can
don't know when
check.
he got it.
Yeah, just last week.
Okay.
Yeah.
We ought to
My
get
my only
corrected.
issue with the roof is, not to say that, Larry said it early on, we should have made sure we had no leaks
That's right.
before we put this floor in.
Well, we've passed.
We were under the impression that we had no leaks
Right.
before we put this floor in.
Yeah.
And now we've got the floor in.
But it's turned into patching one hole,
Oh, I
another one
understand
starts,
that.
I don't want no credit for nothing, I don't want no discredit, but what y'all are on the right track, we've got to put a roof on it. And the more you wait, and the more water gets in
And
the
I don't have a
building.
problem taking it, because I'll be
Yeah.
the first to tell you, I want to know what we got to see, because
I would too.
I don't feel confident.
And if we can find out, as of, say, close of business before the next meeting, So whatever the next meeting date is,
Okay.
what's that date? June 10th? So have Lisa to get the exact number as of that
That
time.
really should should not change. I mean, we're not.
It shouldn't change, but I mean, look how many times it's changed.
I understand that. I'm just saying it
The-
should not
the-
change.
The only, if there's anything that we have outstanding that we're gonna pay for
Out of SIF.
out of SIF, i.e., the purchase of the vehicles, we're gonna use part of the, money for them check that we got from the police car. We're gonna do that. We're gonna use that money from SIF. And then the part of the upfit cost will come from SIF as well. So outside of those two purchases, the SIF balance, once those are accounted for, the balance should be up to date. And I can have that information for you. But those are the only two things I know right now that will change the SIF amount.
And that's fine, but like I said, June 10th, that way we know exactly.
Yeah.
That's all it's gonna be.
Here's the whole thing about it, we got the money to do it.
That's all I need.
Talking about kicking it down the road, waiting another opportunity, that's out of our mind, you know, we got the money to do it.
Chair, if it's 30.
And we know we're gonna do it, we might as well get it done and get it fixed. I don't know when they're gonna start work, that's the thing about it. All this flood and rain, we're getting, spent all the money on the new floor.
Luckily, it hasn't
I
done
don't know.
anything.
Did you withdraw your motion?
No, motion's died.
You
Yeah,
second?
that's fine, it's tabled.
Actually, it didn't die.
There's a motion and a second on the
You have to
floor.
withdraw
Well,
your
it never
motion.
did, yeah.
A motion and a second on the floor to go ahead and purchase this roof. And we can, if everyone, we need to
If
vote.
they don't vote, it just dies. So,
We ain't nobody voting. We can call
that's
for
what
the
I'm saying,
vote.
so it just dies to the next meeting.
We got a motion and a second on the floor to.
Council, to the-
award this.
what do it need?
Listen, we have a motion and a
You can
second.
call for a vote.
I'm gonna call for the vote.
There's
It's a motion and a
also-
second, after you get through discussion.
Right, there's also a request to defer, to move to the next meeting.
I understand, but
You
no
have-
withdrawal of motion or nothing.
Sure.
We have a motion and
You
a second.
absolutely can call
And I'm
for
gonna
it.
call for the action on the motion, and it doesn't matter, that anybody negative bring it up later on if it fails, but motion on the floor is to go ahead and award this contract, get this roof fixed. And it has a 25-year warranty, but how much was it again? I'm sorry, I can't remember.
114.9.
114.9. You have a motion and a second. Any more discussion on fixing this roof? All in favor of fixing the roof? All approve? I mean, if in favor? All opposed?
I mean, if we're voting on it,
Oh, yeah, I mean, if we're voting on it, we're.
I think the council wanted to defer it, but you put
I'll
it
just
to a
hell, I
vote.
mean, it should be, you're gonna do it anyway, so just wasting time.
I don't know what to do.
This, motion failed, the motion failed, the motion was voted down, the motion second was, was refused. 3 against it, 2 in favor.
No, it was only one.
Oh.
I'm scratching my head right now.
The motion was made to award the contract, it had a second.
Yes, it'll go to the next agenda.
It needs to be
The
tabled.
motion failed, that's what goes in that goes in the minutes.
And he still don't know what he's doing.
The heck, I don't, we have a motion second, the motion failed. It's 3-2, it failed. Motion in favor, it failed.
I think it's 1
Council, will you
to 1 to
refer
3, and so then there's also some, subsequent to the vote, there was some direction to
Yes,
Tyler.
but that motion failed.
It did.
It goes in the minutes as failed. Motion failed. 3-3, 2 in
It was
favor, 3
4 to
against.
1.
Or 4
I think it was 1 to 3, but
Well,
it might have been
three,
different.
and I didn't vote, so.
Your vote counts a yes
So
vote.
wait,
3-2.
can I vote?
Mr. Bonham did not vote.
Abstain.
See, it counts a yes vote, he's present, or not.
No, it counts as a yes vote if he's not present and hasn't been excused.
And just as of right now, if you look in the budget message on the third page, it does have the up-to-date SIF amount on there. That's without the vehicle purchase. Just so you know.
As I said,
I know, I'm just saying.
I know what you're saying, because
Yeah.
I seen it, but how
I
many
get-
times have we seen it
I get
fluctuate?
it, I get it.
Okay, let's move on. That motion failed. All right, let's go to city manager report and try to get out of here for midnight.
Let's see, where's my papers? Okay. Just a couple things. Let's see, May 22nd at 12 o'clock, we'll have the Memorial Day service at Edgewood. I think there was some brochures up here in the door if anybody wanted to grab them on the way out. That's at 12 o'clock at Edgewood Cemetery. I did receive the cost savings approval for the $800,000 for the Lynn Street pump station of the $200,000. I did receive that approval. for that. I did also receive the scope for the 8.2 million from Joel Woods and Associates. I did receive that this week. That was submitted to the state for the funding to intent, for the letter of funding to this project. I have not got the intent letter back yet. And the last thing is we did secure 3 bids for the painting of the wastewater treatment plant. And we have awarded that. I think it was around $9,000 to have those, to have the wastewater treatment plant rehabbed for painting.
You've already awarded, that's good, they're getting started, I hope.
Yep.
Who's paying?
Straight Edge.
It's remarkably low. At one time, it was talking about $100-some thousand,
Yeah.
talking about putting an aluminum catwalk in, I mean, this is great.
So we'll still have additional monies left over.
That's great. All right.
That's all I have.
Thank you. Mr. Attorney, you have anything, sir?
Not tonight.
All right, Mr. Robinson?
I do not.
Mr. Bates? Mr. Smith?
Thank citizens and admins and police fire.
Mr. Bonham? Mr. Chitwood?
I'm good, thank you.
Oh, Larry. Yes. The only thing I've got on the Memorial Day service, we're getting a key to the city and everything made for Mr. Cato. He's the second highest ranked soldier in the state of North Carolina, Vietnam soldier. No one's ever done anything for him. Belmont has Mount Holly, and he's a loyal citizen. So on Memorial Day, I'm going to give him the key to the city. We got a plaque being made, and just letting you know about that. And that's the only thing I have. And thanks to the council. I think it's a pretty good meeting overall. Need a motion to adjourn?
Got done.
What else you got?
Got closed session.
Closed session for what?
Make a motion to go into closed session reference to North Carolina General Statute 143-380.
You can get that to us sooner than later, that'd be great.
Okay. Be glad to do that.
We good? I make a motion to extend the city manager position to Tyler Cobb, contingent upon approval of both parties' contract, which we will receive from our city attorney in the coming days.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor? Unanimous?
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor? Unanimous?
That's my favorite one.
Don't vote, though.
Don't what?